The headmaster begins by congratulating all of them on being chosen as representatives of their separate magic departments, and expresses his satisfaction at seeing so many outstanding students together in one place. He then informs them that the matches for the intramural contest have been determined randomly, and that the competition will follow a one-on-one tournament style. The first match will be between the representatives of melee magic and enhancement magic. The second match will feature healing magic versus ranged magic. The final match will feature formation magic against summoning magic. And the final match will be between the irregular magic and alchemical magic representatives. He also notes that the contest is a wonderful opportunity for them to obtain first-hand experience with different magical specializations. The matches will be spread across 10 days, giving everyone enough time to train and recuperate. He adds that he is looking forward to watching their bouts, and all the students bow in agreement. As the conference finishes, Setsuna feels that this might be his moment to talk directly with the headmaster. When the headmaster starts to depart, he shouts out to him. The headmaster recognizes him as the representative of the melee magic department. Our youngster introduces himself and gently asks if he can make a request. He wonders whether if he wins the tournament, he would be able to learn about the headmaster's abilities. The headmaster is astonished and points out that since he is a melee magic student and he himself is a summoner, his magic may not be very valuable to him. Hearing this, the hero clarifies that he is truly interested in learning about the headmaster's other specialism. The headmaster's attitude changes immediately, and he becomes irate, demanding to know how a student like him knows about his second specialization. Despite being faced with the headmaster's menacing aura, our kid realizes that if he wants to find a means to destroy the death god, he cannot back down now. He explains that he cannot fully explain his motives, but he believes that if the melee magic department wins the tournament for the first time in this century, it will revolutionize how the world regards them. Compared to that, his request does not seem outrageous. After a moment, the headmaster finds that the hero does not appear to have any ulterior motives. He agrees that if he wins the tournament, he will tell him what he wishes to know. As the hero bows in appreciation, the old man tells him that this would not be simple by any means. Setsuna reacts with hard determination, firmly proclaiming his intent to win the tournament and receive the headmaster's instruction. Pleased by his spirit, the headmaster walks on. Later that evening, our student sits alone outside. Having some great cuisine, while reflecting on his 10 years at the academy, he realizes that over those years, he rarely had much to do in his leisure time. For the time being, his emphasis is on the competition, since there are just 10 days left. Suddenly, someone assures him that there is no need to bother about preparations. At the same instant, a clenched hand slams toward him. Despite it being a surprise attack, our boy blocks with his arm and rapidly creates distance. Turns out that the attacker is a golem. It isn't long before the geek reveals himself and adds that he was shooting for his blind spot. The hero immediately discovers that the golem is Noel's creation, produced by utilizing his power to transform life into stone. He wonders what he intends to do next. The nerd makes it plain that he wants to finish what they started and has no intention of waiting for their official match in the intramural event. He summons many golems to strike from behind, vowing that the hero must pay the price for embarrassing him. Remaining calm, our boy reminds him that he has brought this upon himself. When the academy bells sound, Noel decides to halt, saying that it would not look good to be seen cornering a weak and defensive opponent. He dismisses the golems and exits, vowing to crush him even more completely in their next combat. Our lad notices that the nerd is highly adept at commanding numerous golems at once, but he still doesn't have any manners since he made him drop his bread. The next day, head instructor Lionel addresses the pupils in the melee magic department. He explains that before the intramural match begins, they will evaluate the combat between Drago and Setsuna. He asks both of them whether they have identified their flaws, and they nod in agreement. The buff guy is the first one to speak, and he admits that his control over both his mana and his emotions is fragile. On the other hand, our child confesses that his physical strength is insufficient, and that his opponent overpowered him in that area. Lionel praises their honesty and reminds them that growth is impossible without recognizing one's weaknesses. He encourages them to focus on these deficiencies throughout the upcoming encounter. Hearing this, the red-haired girl raises her hand and asks whether this match will also serve as training for the intramural event. The instructor smiles and adds that the hero's first match will be against the enhancement magic department. According to our youngster, Noel's ability rests in directing a large number of golems, and since golems have physical forms, battling them is not that different from facing a combat mage. Lionel then delivers directions to both students. He encourages Drago to focus on speed, as he will simulate a group of golems by hitting the hero from several directions. As for Setsuna, he must practice blocking his attacks and executing counterattacks. The buff guy prepares himself and says that this time will not be like previously. Our youngster smiles in agreement, stating that is exactly what he is hoping for. Drago rushes in to punch, but the hero dodges the attack. Argoy plans to attack from the right, but before he can respond, his opponent strikes him with his other hand. He realizes that he is slightly too sluggish. Seeing this, the teacher praises the buff guy, remarking how nicely he mixes speed and power. Hearing this, Bro turns into Prime Mike Tyson and prepared to fire a left hook. The hero notices his motions and knows that it's a fake, which turns out to be the right call. The instructor is impressed and recommends him to add some footwork to counter. Our youngster nods and promptly moves back from a punch to throw a counter. After some while, both of them end up resting on the ground, fully fatigued. The instructor approaches them and notes that their moves are good. He believes that in only a few days, they will be able to handle golems without any issue. Lionel brings them water bottles, and while taking a drink, our kid remarks that he still won't let his guard down. The instructor notices that while Drago has a good basis, Setsuna exhibits excellent instincts that make him a natural in this sector. Eventually, the day of the contest approaches. The audience is eager, as the host says that this is the Elm Ridge Mage Academy's 781st contest, aiming to decide which of the 8 students representing the Academy's magical departments will reign supreme. The hero and the nerd stand facing each other, well prepared for the match. The MC addresses the audience and informs them that betting is permissible. Most of the crowd has their bets on the geeks since they doubt a melee mage can win. Among the few people who wagered on our child is the bully who got destroyed by him earlier. Meanwhile, the audience notices Oktar from the ranged magic department entering the arena. Turns out that whoever would win this bout will have to face him next. The host then explains that the stage will change randomly for every match, and for this one, the battleground is a desert. The geek glances at the hero and observes that luck does not seem to be on his side. Some youths in the audience began trash-talking our boy as they believe that it's going to be an easy fight. Hearing this, Layla shouts at them to be quiet and vows that after the match, they will see whether the melee department is actually the weakest. Finally, the host signals for the match to begin. As soon as the game starts, the nerd picks up a stone and asks the hero whether he knows what it is. Our boy asks if it is a chunk of fortified rock. The person confirms this and explains that when it is mixed with sand, it makes golems. Right on cue, a golem built of fortified rock arrives, utterly impenetrable to knives. Noel then shows a sack packed with identical stones and scatters them around, causing even more golems to form. He challenges Setsuna to see how long he can last. Layla is horrified and cannot believe how many golems he has conjured. The nerd smugly says that in a desert he can build as many golems as he likes, and that the hero's melee magic cannot compete with that. The students in the crowd began to trash-talk the hero again, noting that it's going to be a boring contest. The geek then asks him if he has any last words. Instead of being impressed by this, our youngster answers that this is disappointing, as he expected him to be better. Noel is surprised by this response and freezes for a time before ordering the golems to assault. As the golems march, a tremendous cloud of dust fills the air. The nerd smugly remarks that this is the consequence for daring to provoke him. Because of the dust, the audience cannot see anything and starts wondering what is occurring. The swirling sand makes the battleground entirely unclear. Inside the dust cloud, the hero focuses on his mana and begins chopping down the golems one by one. He mutters to himself that he learned how to break them a long time ago. The audience is horrified, and even the nerd is left stunned by what he witnesses. He frantically constructs even more golems and sends them charging at the hero. However, our boy maintains calm as he closes the distance toward him. He believes that in close-quarters combat, no other school of magic can overcome melee magic, and that golems with predictable actions pose no genuine threat to him. Once again, he tears through the golems, leading the geek to worry. He desperately lunges for his bag, exclaiming that he can construct even more golems, but it's too late. The hero has already closed the distance, and he is about to get hit in the face. Just a single punch is enough to send him flying back a few meters. Everyone in the audience is astonished, wondering what just happened, since they can't really see anything because of the remaining dust. As the dust eventually settles, everyone stare in awe since the only person remaining is Setsuna. Immediately after this, the MC pronounces him the winner for this bout. The hero takes a deep breath and believes to himself that he has won the first bout comfortably. Even if his friend celebrates for him with excitement, the other pupils aren't very confident about his success yet and think he just got fortunate. Some even argue that the opponent was too fatigued or ran out of mana. However, the headmaster of the ranged magic department knows the truth. He mentions that Noel did not lose because of a mistake, but because the hero was simply more talented. The student behind him notes that the struggle against the melee magic representative will more fascinating than imagined, albeit he believes he should put a precaution in place. Later, the second encounter is revealed, and the stage changes once more, this time changing into a forest. After witnessing his match, our lad walks over to Layla, who congratulates him on winning. She asks if he plans to see the following match as well. The hero mentions that he will, saying that seeing prior conflicts would help him prepare for future clashes. The second battle is between the pink-haired girl from the summoning department and the representative of the formation magic department. So far, it seems like the furry anime girl is winning. As the hero observes, he thinks that although the formation magic user is losing, their moves are excellent and would be worth trying against melee magic eventually. His friend comments that although if the magic being used appears flashy and cool, she still wants to become stronger by practicing melee magic. Hearing this, he asks her why she picked melee magic, considering she undoubtedly has potential in other schools as well. The girl relates a childhood memory, describing that while playing with her younger brother, they were attacked by a bear. At that point, she feared they were finished until a melee magician came to their rescue. She found that wizard really cool and strong, and from that day on, she determined she wanted to become like them, strong enough to protect others. She admits that the rationale sounds juvenile and feels a little embarrassed. Setsuna reassures her that it is not foolish at all, believing that when someone has a defined aim, they can become immeasurably stronger. While the two of them are discussing, Leo approaches from the stairs. The hero believes him to be the most competent pupil in the ranged magic department, second only to himself. His companion compliments his match and recognizes that despite being from the melee magic department, his power is outstanding. He then taunts him about the female sitting near him and asks if she is his girlfriend. Our boy is confused by the inquiry, but Layla immediately says that it is not what he thinks and stands up to leave. As she goes away, she comments that because they are friends, they should sit together and enjoy the remaining matches. After she leaves, our child asks his friend why he was not chosen as the representative of their department. Leo moves closer and tells that the current rep, Akhtar, is cunning. He somehow fooled him into not participating in the selection match for their department. Our lad believes that the ranged magic rep is the type of person who will stop at nothing to get what he wants. Therefore, he will need to be careful when meeting him. The image then turns to Demon himself, who is staring at a box of flowers with a wicked smirk on his face. During the event, the MC announces that the long-awaited first match of the second round of the intramural contest will be between the ranged magic and melee magic departments. This time it's a lava level, which means that whomever falls not only loses, but also endures severe pain from the fire. Drago and the teacher discuss the matchup and know that it's going to be difficult for the hero. The ranged magic rep stands with his instructor and notes on the impressive stage created for the duel. Silas adds that the hero would profoundly regret his decision and realize how foolish it was to pick melee magic. Akhtar reacts calmly, noting that remorse will only matter if he manages to even start the match. The announcer then declares that the match is set to begin, but Setsuna is nowhere to be seen. If he does not show within the following 5 minutes, the ranged magic department will automatically win and move to the next round. This news surprises both Lionel and Drago. The scene moves to the competitor waiting area 10 minutes earlier. Layla knocks on the door and asks the hero how he is feeling before entering. He says that he feels well as usual and invites her to look at the vase placed in front of him. When she does, he reveals that it is a mystical artifact triggered by touch. The moment someone makes touch with it, it drains a large amount of mana. Shocked, she asks why such a deadly device is placed there. He tells her that it was designed to incapacitate him before the match and confesses that this is the 8th attempt on his life. When she wonders whether he is harmed, he reassures her not to worry, adding that he has already taken care of everything. He knows that ranged magic rep is behind it, but he left no traces, so he doesn't really have any proof. Suddenly there is a knock on the door. 3 youngsters enter bringing a bouquet and ask Layla to present it to the hero. She asks why youngsters are here at all, and one of them tells that a man sent them to bring it. When they look around, they realize that the man is no longer there. The girl guesses it was one of his fans, and remarks that it would have been better if he had received the bouquet himself. Suddenly, one of the kids carrying the bouquet suddenly grows disoriented and drops it. Setsuna discovers unusual markings on the child's neck, reminding him of something he witnessed during the war. Reacting swiftly, he kicks the bouquet away. Alarmed, the girl asks what is wrong. He explains that the blossoms are from a toxic plant known as venom. The children's health already seems serious, and our kid understands they don't have much time to spend. He mutters to himself about how far some individuals are ready to go merely to win a tournament. It's evident that without rapid treatment, the youngsters will not live. However, to treat them, they must find a healer who knows how to treat this specific poison. The girl also starts to panic and asks him if the children are at risk. He confirms it and urges her to keep her distance from them, since going too close could expose her to the poison as well. Layla reassures him that she will be okay, then takes out a brooch and asks him to believe her. The hero realizes that it is a magical artifact capable of storing mana. The child says that her mother imbued the brooch with a healing enchantment. She attempts to heal the children, and the hero watches as the marks on their skin slowly begin to erase. Her mother had given her the brooch expressly for emergencies, though she never dreamed she would need to use it in a scenario like this. Seeing her perform so selflessly, he praises her and runs away to get rid of the toxic bouquet. He understands that when the flowers blossom, they produce the largest quantity of poison. Thus, it is vital to act before the situation worsens. However, he also recognizes that removing it in front of a huge audience will spread the poison and imperil everyone nearby. The venom is already hurting him as well. Because of this, he tosses the bouquet toward the world tree, expecting it will be destroyed there. With a surge of force, he strikes it, slices through the toxic plant, and sends it flying high into the sky, far away from the arena. As he watches it burn, he feels the poison begin to lessen as his power slowly returns. Meanwhile, inside the arena, the audience starts whispering about Setsuna's absence. Some presume that he has gone away out of fear. After verifying the time, the host declares that the hero is about to be disqualified. Just as the presenter is about to pronounce Akhtar the winner, our lad comes and interrupts, stating that the match is far from finished. The ranged magic rep greets his arrival with a peculiar smile, almost like it's making him more eager. He also asks the hero if he was delighted with the present, prepared to congratulate him for winning the first round. Our lad points out that he is using underhanded techniques and accuses him of poisoning innocent children merely for his selfish ambitions. As expected, the purple-haired tweaker claims to have no awareness about any of things. He even deems it a trifling affair, which makes our lad even more irritated. The tweaker says that the children should feel proud for having played a role in his win. The hero has heard enough, and he is ready to throw this demon back to hell. At the same moment, the presenter announces the start of the second round. Akhtar instantly attempts an assault using storm bullet magic, but the hero easily dodges it. Watching from the sidelines, Drago is astonished and wonders if something happened to Setsuna on the way to the arena, as his mana appears unstable. Our youngster knows that the world tree has cleaned most of the deadly poison from his body, but the remaining residue is still keeping him from working at full capacity. A succession of strikes follows, but he hops aside and dodges them all. The lunatic, who is clearly only just getting started, mocks him and declares that the melee magic representative only understands how to defend. From the sidelines, his instructor says to himself, delighted that he arranged everything in his student's favor. He believes that no matter how hard the hero tries, he will not be able to win this match. In all of this, our boy realizes that Layla has still not returned and wonders about whether the children are secure. Akhtar teases him, accusing him of losing focus on the struggle and implying that he is feeling exhausted. Meanwhile, the nobodies in the audience start trash-talking the hero again and declare that melee magic has no hope of beating ranged magic. The ranged magic rep attacks again, declaring that he is ready to finish things. Setsuna bracing himself and tries to resist the assault with his mana guard, but the moment he activates it, the guard shatters and he is gravely damaged. The guy chuckles, mocking his situation and calling the scene sad. Struggling to rise, our boy queries why Akhtar is holding back. He tells him that whenever someone reveals vulnerability in front of ranged wizards, they instantly exploit it to push them to loss. However, all he is doing is messing around. This makes him ponder what he is genuinely up to. The psycho laughs hearing this and looks impressed that even while defending, the hero is evaluating every move. Finding this fascinating, he tells him to look around. When Setsuna does, he realizes that he is entirely surrounded, stranded on a little patch of ground enclosed by lava. Even the bully starts to feel worried about him since he might lose his bet. As if he didn't seem creepy already, the ranged magic rep throws out an even more terrifying smile and adds that he chases perfection. Everything his opponent did was exactly what he planned. With this, he prepares to deploy his storm cannon, indicating that it is all over. At that moment, Layla rushes into the arena and screams out to the hero, alerting him that the children are now safe. Our boy smiles with relief, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. He understands that he can now battle with his entire strength. The hero glances at the guy and states that his preparations are finally complete. This takes the crazy by surprise, and he wonders how the hero suddenly received this weird influx of mana. Our youngster explains that during Oktar's risky games, he has been employing physical boosts to energize his cells and detoxify his blood. In other words, by playing around, his opponent was digging his own grave. The guy refuses to believe his words and proceeds on with his storm cannon magic. His instructor likewise thinks the hero is bluffing and pushes him to kill him down. The next instant, the ranged rep sends out a tremendous concentrated magic assault, straight for our lad. With nowhere else to go, the hero understands that his only choice is to block it head-on. He swiftly strikes the incoming onslaught with his mana sword and slashes the entire thing in half. Not only that, he also manages to divert the spell back at the madman. This stuns everyone in the arena, and they look with their jaws wide agape, not giving him a chance to recover. The ranged magic rep prepared to fire another strike. He is convinced that the hero won't be able to block this one, but before he can even finish his sentence, Setsuna appears directly in front of him. Like every other coward, he attempts to apologize, but it's too late. Our boy slaps the evil out of his face and knocks him down with a single punch. With this, the match is finally over, and the hero is declared as the winner. As cheers erupt, the ground beneath them suddenly begins to quake and crumble. Both our boy and the ranged magic rep are pushed to the edge, and the crowd gasps in horror. As they are tumbling down, the hero observes that Oktar is already unconscious, and he might get gravely harmed if he falls into the lava pit. Despite being his opponent, he risks his own life to try and save that madman. The hero barely manages to catch his leg before he falls in, but it doesn't appear like he can pull him up. At that moment, the furry girl appears and summons her beast, Fenrir, to save them. The hero quickly identifies it as summoning magic. The audience celebrates as the beast swoops in and rescues both of them. Carol praises her summon and turns to Setsuna with a smile, hoping that he does not mind her stepping in. Our lad thanks her for the support and believes to himself that she is surely one of the strongest competitors to win the intramural contest. She is a formidable opponent, and he knows he must prepare meticulously for their future battle. Meanwhile, the crowd is starting to modify its ideas about the hero. Even though they thought his initial victory was a fluke, this match dramatically changed their opinion. Even the headmaster appears impressed as he lets out a tiny smile from below that big beard. On the other side, the ranged magic instructor is upset at Oktar. He is still not willing to give up and promises to teach the hero a lesson.